Alrighty, what is going on, everyone? Today we have the Mining King here as a special guest. Dave is unable to make it, so he has some other obligations that he has to attend to. But I figured, who's better than the Mining King himself to come on and talk crypto and AI and stuff? Because he is the expert on it all. So, welcome, Mining King. It is weird calling you by your YouTube name, but
yeah. Thanks for having me on, man. Yeah, Dave called me earlier, asked if I could come on and do the show, and I was like, yeah, sure. You guys always have a really good show. I like the business aspect, right? Because you guys, with GPURisers, and then the veteran miner, like seeing how businesses are doing and what innovations are coming in the pipeline for
it's kind of yeah, I mean, it's kind of interesting seeing, you get like a different perspective, I guess, from the business side, right? You can kind of see if people are coming in, but I mean, as like YouTubers and stuff, you guys see it too, right? Like, did our video views up, our comments up, like engagement and everything like that? So it's a little bit different, but a little bit the same, right?
Yeah.
Here, let me say hi to everyone real quick in the chat. We are live on X. You went live on X too, didn't you, last time? Yesterday?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Hawk's probably calling me. He's probably does my mic sound bad? Do my AirPods sound bad when I use them? Or
no, it sounds good. I think he just got to the data center though in Melbourne, so he's actually texting me too.
Yeah, well, he could just tell him to send me messages in Discord.
Yeah,
this guy.
Maybe he'll tune in here soon in a little bit, but it's the seamless integration with X is really nice on StreamYard. I know that Mike and Dave, they use like Streamlabs and all these different things, but I know me and you are kind of just like, all right, let's click the button and go live, But
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's super easy. I don't like, why are we using a program with another program to stream? I'm just like, I'm just make it simple, click one button and I'm done. You know what I mean? I need simplicity, man. I do a lot of complicated stuff in my day. When I'm streaming or doing my YouTube stuff, I want things to not be complicated.
Yeah. And I noticed the more you add to it, right? Like the more problems that can come up. Whereas if you just have one thing with your camera on and stuff like that, it's a lot easier. But we got a couple people in the chat. Welcome, everyone. We have 25 people watching, and that is a mix between YouTube and X. I know we had a large amount from X last time. I don't know if that was a bug or not, but I'll take it as a compliment. But we have Crypto Craig. What's up, man? Dom G, Vinny Del Greco, Travelers Travels, Turtle Tech, Crypto Frank, Automatic Beats. What's up, man? Toxic Miner, and Retro Mike, using my favorite subscriber on YouTube is Retro Mike. Thank you for using the emojis, much appreciated.
That's funny.
Oh, I got a couple of them. Using the risers, the Omega frame, and what's the last? Which one is this one? The last one? I can't tell which one that is from here, but it's
It looks like a lawyer or something. I don't know. I can't tell.
I don't know. Yeah, I can't tell what is that. Let's see if I hover over it. Or actually, I have the emojis, right? Here, what is this? Oh, it's boxes. Oh, like boxes all behind me. Yeah, that's how it was. Back in the GPURisers bunker. It was kind of like when you get a flood of inventory in, it's kind of just all around you. So, yeah, Retro Mike, you're my only member, dude. Yeah, doesn't mean you're not my favorite, Retro Mike. Doesn't mean that. But yeah, it's this past week has been, I want to say, kind of relaxing. Like, not a lot of traveling. Usually I feel like, especially in the Terra team, I feel like there's always someone somewhere, you know what I mean? And this past week has been kind of I know you moved, Jarrett, a couple states over and everything like that, so you've been getting settled in Missouri. And I've been home too, which is, I want to say strange, because the month before was like just chaos. Nothing compared to you, but it was
driving 6,000 miles in 1 month, right?
Yeah. Oh, I can totally relate to you. Yeah. I flew
Yeah,
it, but I didn't drive it. Thank you, Crypto Craig. It gifted 1 GPURisers membership. Yeah, and again, I know I mentioned this on one of the prior streams. I don't have anything special. Like, I know King has like the members streams where you guys get like, the special tips and tricks and stuff like that. And his vast AI guide, which is I don't want to say has saved me on multiple occasions, but it has the best guide out there on it. So speaking of guides, though, King, what do you think about all these other platforms that are popping up? I know that you had a video, which is the topic is amazing, right? Like testing 4 different platforms. And me and you spoke yesterday a little bit about them. So what do you think about the whole Flux thing that's going on?
Actually, I just logged into my Flux today. I haven't had a chance really. I haven't really looked at it since the other day, but it's actually still on. It's still rented. It's been on for 1 day, 15 hours, solid rent. $10.06 is what I've accumulated so far. It's at 26 cents an hour. So I mean, it's looking really good. I'm gonna hate that I'm gonna have to turn it off for a second because I want to get these plugs on this thing, right? So this company sent this over to me from Toggled IQ, and actually, I talked to the guy today, and he's actually a viewer, and he's trying to get his company to kind of get into, because he does AI and crypto at home. He's trying to get his company in there. They do it for like really big buildings and stuff like that, right? But it's all ran on a Bluetooth mesh network, right? So all the devices can you can connect to all of them and get all the data. The nice thing about this though is it has an API. So check this out. If we ended up getting these and using having one of these on each of the Octa miners, right? Eventually maybe at Missouri, right? This monitors the power, right? So you can give the customer the kilowatt hour, right? And their rates, as well as you could have the API. So this way the customer could cycle the port if they needed to.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's like a mini smart PDU.
So this part right here is he just made he could do like C19s or whatever, right? He just made this for me. You know what I mean? Because I'm using 120, right? But this is the actual part right here. So this can do anywhere from 120 to 340 volt, 20 amps. Only 20 amps though, so can't do. If you do put it on a 30 amp circuit, just realize that you can't use a full 30 amps. You can only go up to 20, right? That's what it's rated for. But it could do all kinds of metering. You could cycle all the plugs and things like that. You can either use it on your phone, or you could set it up like on a site. So you could actually pull these meters all together and get like a site overview of what they're all, using on like one floor or a whole building. You know what I mean? You could have like, okay, I want all the toggle IQs on row 4. I want them all to cycle, and you can just make them all do it, right? Or you can just make one do it. So it's really interesting. He gave this to me to try out for a while I run my tests. So I thought it was pretty nice of him. But it's something that I'm kind of looking into for us as a company for our Octa miners, right? To be able to meter them 100% accurately, as well as with the API, giving the client the ability, because sometimes when they're in the crash state, right, you're not able to do the hard reset, right, with the Octa miner, right, because you can't reach it. This way, you could just cycle the plug yourself.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Do you think that he could add that to like a regular PDU? I know you mentioned 20 amps, but I mean, could that little thing, instead of being on an outlet, be a part of like a larger PDU, and you just run wires to every plug?
So currently, right now, it's unavailable for a PDU. And the one thing is like, look, so like, we were thinking of doing big PDUs, right? And here's the thing with PDUs is we're just going to have a shitload of cables going everywhere, right? Just like there is right now. You know what I mean? They're going to be stretching from here and here. Instead, I mean, I don't know if it's more advantageous for us to just run each machine its own individual like plug, right? You know what I mean? And then check this out. You can assign this and keep this mounted to the Octominer. So like, even if you plug this in, like, let's say you move this machine like over 3 rows and down 2, you know that this is still machine 50, right? This is still Octominer 50. And you could tie it to the machine. So I don't know, there's all kinds of uses for it, you know what I mean? And you can set schedules if you wanted to as well. You could schedule things on here as well, and it'll turn things off and on.
That's kind of nice, especially with like heat, right? I mean, that's something we've kind of experienced is heat schedules and relying on Hive for it. But if you could just turn the machine completely off, that's probably better, right?
Yeah, and just this is different than the meter box, right? Because the meter box is not UL listed. This is 100% UL listed. All these parts here are all UL listed.
Yeah.
So,
that's a huge thing. I feel like we've been talking a lot about UL listed. Maybe things a little bit bigger than that, but yeah, it is a big thing, right? UL listed, to have it in, commercial areas and stuff like that. I have a meter box right behind Grogu right there. There it is. Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I got one there. But I like it. I like the meter box is a good idea, right? Little plastic injected mold and being able to do it. I use it for testing still to this day. So it's always nice knowing that and being able to, forecast, right? Especially with, mining rigs, you have a lot of tools. Is that the app?
Yeah. I don't know if my camera's going to do it justice right here, but this is going to get reflection from my... Try to so I don't get the ring light.
Shows the voltage, the current, power factor, energy consumption.
And then there's the energy odometer, which is the active kilowatt hour.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
So this is going to keep a rolling track of the kilowatt hour. And then you could also set it to what type of interval. How often do you want to get these readings? You could do 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 30 seconds, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, once an hour, and it'll automatically update that for whatever parameter you want to give it.
Yeah. It's interesting, being able to monitor it and everything like that, and it's useful, and for us as a company, to be able to see it with the ASICs and GPUs. You kind of have like a good estimate, you know what I mean, with like Foreman or Hive, and other monitoring softwares, but it's never like the true wattage, right? There's always like plus 5%, or under 5%, and that's been an interesting thing. And
the issue that we face is with smaller clients that only have like 1 or 2 GPU rigs, is you have to watch the power more frequently, because in Hive OS it doesn't record the entire month, right? So you have to go in there every 3 days and take a reading. Because the Octominer, me and Panda both did videos on this, right? Me and Panda both did. The Octominer is pretty much true wattage within a % or 2 of what's pulling on the wall. It's very accurate, right? Extremely accurate. But the problem is when it comes down to the client level, if they don't have enough GPUs, it doesn't record that data for an entire 30 days. This right here on every machine is going to record every little bit. Anytime they switch an algorithm, if they switch to 5 times in a row, this will record every little bit of it, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, no, it is. I think it's going to be great for the AI stuff. That's been something we've been kind of messing around with in Melbourne. Is I think the one thing we learned a lot with this is, at least when I first got into Vast AI, once King released his Vast AI guide and I was able to learn Linux, then I got my first Vast AI rig up, and it was always running. It was always hot, right? Like it was always just I don't know if people, I didn't even know at the time how to like check and see what's going on. Is this is running, that's running. And I think there was a lot of people switching on to the 4090s for mining, and then some were training language models. But I think what we've noticed with the AI side is like a lot of these aren't even, they're rented, but they're not even running. Like the cards are, a lot of them are ice cold, and it's like, how do you measure the wattage to know what your true like profit and profit or loss, depending on what it is, but how much you're making every month off of this and your overhead and everything. So we've swapped out a couple PDUs in Melbourne, those big giant APC ones. Which me being as cheap as I am, I got them on eBay. I texted Frank, I'm like, hey, I know these are normally $2,000, but I found them for $300 or $250 or something. And sure enough, sure enough, 2 out of the 3 were bad. You know what I mean? So I was like, I got the first one up and going, and that's what I have. We have an L40S, some combination of those on this one, and so that one's working fine. And then I set up the other two, and both of them have like errors, right? And whenever you see like wattage errors or like something going wrong in a thing that's going to be pulling 5,000 watts, it's like uneasy, which those are the worst things to return, right? Like I'm used to like Amazon returns where you're like, okay, I can just drop this off a UPS. A PDU is like, these things are like 6.5 feet tall, and they're heavy, and they have the big gauge wire that you got to wrap around. So long story short, the two of them were broken. I talked to the guy, so he sent 2 new ones. They're in my living room, which I wish I gave Mike, because I know he's up at the data center now. And I have some other stuff that I need to get up there, but I'll probably go next week. But yeah, monitoring wattage and everything is huge. It's it's a big thing. So it's always cool. Especially I love them in like the house, right? You know, like the small ones. You can always see I messed around a lot with that when I had the flux core on that, and I was testing different stuff. Or when Jeffy was remoted into this, you could see whenever he was running like, stable diffusion or something like that. It goes up to 500, 600 watts and then drops down and everything like that. So it's definitely good to have. Anyone that doesn't have like some kind of monitoring or anything like that, and should at least get one for testing and stuff like that. It's nice. Toggled IQ. Where's Dave? What's up, Max? Dave has to attend to some family matters tonight, so he's fine. Everyone's good. It's just sometimes with it. I mean, King knows too. It's like some days, you have it scheduled every week, right? Like this is when I'm going to go live. This is when I'm going to do it. And sometimes life just kind of gets in the way. And is it worth rearranging everything for it? Not always, but that's the thing is if I can't get on, then Dave can jump on and stuff like that. So.
Right, it could at least be one person, right? You know what I mean? It could be somebody.
Yeah, Frank did say buy 10. He did tell me that, and I was like, that's a lot, but you were right, Frank, 100%. 100%. Because then I could just like group them together and send them back. But now I am dealing with it. So, but I got the other 2 returned and everything like that. And everything. GPURisers, send me the link and I can join to share your glorious PDUs. All right, let me give Mike a link here. I do want to go over some stuff with Jared with AI, so I know Mike's gonna be working there and everything, and then I can do it. But here, hold on one sec, Mike. But
and
so I mean, oh, sorry, go Jared.
I was just gonna tell, hey Hawk, I can't VPN over there. It'll kick me off my internet when I VPN, so I can't give your port right now to you. So you're gonna have to wait.
I think he's putting up a Octo server, which Jared, I think you sent yours over. It looks really nice. The hardest thing is finding a server case that fits 4090s. I think that was like the biggest thing for us, which we ended up going open air, which now we have. Frank got one from overseas that we're kind of like messing around with and kind of figuring that side out, but. Jared, I was going to ask, because I know I watched the video about your 4 different AI platforms. You're running it on Flux, and that's rented. Do you have 3 other machines that are currently on these other marketplaces at the same time?
Well, no, not yet. So I'm just trying to get them all. I'm just trying to get them all on there right now for the time being. So I have one on Salad. Obviously, I have it on Salad. I have the one on Flux Core, and then I'm going to try and do it tonight where I'm going to get fast, and then I'm going to do Chlor, but I've never done Chlor before, so I'm sure I'm going to run into a wall or two. Because, I mean, no offense, every one of these AI platforms, their guide is shit, right?
What do you mean? It's great. They don't have your guide? Yeah, you should contact all of them and be like, I'll make a guide for you. All right, we have Mr. Hawk in the background, so let's.
What are you doing? This is turning into like Terra Hash Tuesday, revamp 2.0.
It is Terra Hash Tuesday.
Wacky Wednesdays. Let's see, Mike, you gonna show the PDUs?
Yeah, where your stupid PDUs? Hold on.
How do I make his video bigger?
Double click on me on the screen.
I did. It
You
just
have to make it one
So-
single person. I think.
So move me into your position and then go to the bottom and select just the one where it shows the one guy on the main screen.
okay.
Hold
There
on a
he
second.
is.
Hold on.
Live in the field, everyone. Hot crypto mining.
Oh my god, why is it backwards? All right, here we go.
There it is. See, it's connected. That's the one that works. Does it show the wattage on there, Mike?
Hold on.
Or 1 amp? Please don't click a button. Oh.
Don't click a button. He's
Please
like,
don't click anything. Oh my god, he's pressing every button on it. Okay. What it shows the amps there. What are the amps? Because it's oh, there it is. 0.2. See, 230 watts for that machine is. That's what I was saying. Is that a lot of these machines are not consuming a whole lot of wattage, which is surprising.
What the heck?
So, it's interesting. Oh, Dom G, thank you for subscribing. Did someone give subscriptions out? If someone did, thank you. I appreciate it.
That was Craig.
Oh, Craig gave them out. Okay, thanks, Craig. Yeah, we got some other machines there. Okay, I think everyone that's watching has kind of like known our story here at Terra, like why we have them on garage husky racks. But yeah, we had all the mining rigs, right? Like everything in this facility was set out for mining rigs, and then we kind of,
I spent so much time doing the networking and making the patch panels for this thing, running all the plenum, Cat 6 underneath the floor, and then it just was all for nothing.
Yeah.
Now we use fiber everywhere.
Yeah. Exactly. It's but that's the thing. That's what, like, I think Melbourne has been like a it's been a teaching moment for everyone, where I see it now every time I go there. I'm like, okay, this is a test facility, and that's really what it is. We go in there and we it's not perfect, right? But we're testing everything to get it to a more perfect view. If Mike shows what's connected to the PDU, it shows a rack, and it has an ASRock professional server in it and everything like that. So it's almost like walking down a trip to memory lane, you know what I mean, of where we kind of started and where we're going. And it's exciting. We have a lot of big things coming. There's the you
guys got an Xfinity fan?
It's hot. This thing gets hot, man.
So it's
I haven't been down there since that was put in.
Yeah, that rack was fun to get in the back of my truck. But
It
is kind of going through memory lane. What's interesting? Okay, I know that we've talked about this facility a lot, but we have the AC set at X amount, right? Like, let's just say 72. The problem is when the AC is off, the AC room, like where the handler is, doesn't pull any air, so the floor will get much hotter until it eventually gets there. Yeah, there's our little robot.
That's the security right there.
Yeah, yeah. I have an alert. It has facial recognition. When it sees Mike, it just calls the police right away. They swarm the building. But yeah, these are all of our AI rigs. I don't know if we've shown you guys completely, but you can see like a lot of these fans. I don't know if you can see it from this far. We have a lot of TVM cables on there as well, so those have been working great. But we have you can see the fans; they're not moving, and a lot of these are rented, and they're just like all these are rented, so they turn on and run their project, and they don't. It was something that's like kind of obvious after you think about it, but we just didn't know until we actually built them out, right? Because all of our 1-card, 2-card test ones prior to these were, for some reason those just get hammered, right? Unless you have a different experience, Jarrett. But I in my experience, my 2-card rigs that I have, my 4090s, are just they're always at 70 Celsius, always.
Yeah, well, except for Salad, right? When it came to Bass, if it was a single or 2-card rig, those things it seemed like they were always just getting hammered. But we found that actually the more cards you have, it seems like the less. I don't know if it's just different workloads or because it's really not my expertise, but it's like I feel like they use less power overall, right, compared to like a
Yeah.
single unit.
Yeah, I mean, it's so it varies a lot. You know what I mean? I think that's the best way to put it. Is like it depends on who your client is, what they're doing, and everything like that. Crypto Craig here is asking all three of us, what did we settle on for the best number of cards per system for AI deployments? And 20, definitely not. But yeah, I mean, it's difficult, right? Like at Terra, you can see a lot of 5-card ones. We have a lot of other numerous ones. It kind of depends on, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Jared, but like the overhead on the system, right? Like you don't want to have 5 cards and then have like 64 gigs of RAM. Like you should have, X amount of resources on the overall build per card.
So we'll see it. This is where it's like extremely situational, right? Where we're on a platform I found that's kind of private, where you have to request to get in, and they want like so much resources per GPU, right? And there's even ones that are even more that require more, right? Some of them are a minimum of like, so let's just say like 2 terabytes per GPU, right? That's like what they require, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let me just say, if you had 12 4090s on there, you're going to need 24 terabytes at least of storage, and that doesn't include the OS, right? In some places like RunPod require like the OS to be ran in RAID on a separate drive, right? Have 2 separate drives in RAID for your OS, and then have your main storage for your AI, stuff you're hosting. So it's really when you build these systems, it's really dependent upon what marketplace you're trying to attack. But like, this is kind of like my general rule of thumb, right? General rule is you want at least 64 gigs per GPU. That's a really good number. And then I would say I would try to stick with around a terabyte, right, for each GPU. That's pretty reasonable. I think we're running 5 cards and we're using, I believe, a half a terabyte, right?
On each
we're
one,
using 512. Yeah, we're using 512. And then I can't remember. I don't remember if they're 4 terabyte or 8 terabyte NVMe's.
They're 4.
I think we went 4 on that because the 8 terabytes were a big jump. I know that they were really expensive, and that's obviously budget constraints and things like that. But then you also have to think about all the different power supplies. You know what I mean? Because then because like the more cards you have, the more power you need, and like unless you're having a server, right, to control this, and you're doing this like on a frame like this, getting the power, like to get all the power supplies to come on at the same time is like, it's just AIDS, right?
Yeah. It's not great. That's the thing, and then each power supply kind of reacts differently, right? Like we started with EVGA 1600 watts because they were cost effective. That's better than saying cheap, right? They were cost effective.
Yeah, you can use that from now on. That sounds a lot better than cheap.
But then we switched to non-cost effective ones that perform a little bit better. The Seasonic ones that have the 12 pins on them, and those don't connect the same way or they don't work the same way the EVGAs do. Like you can't turn on, because we use Dave's cables on like the motherboard part of it and everything else, but it, like the add 2 PSUs, that's what we have on these, right? Like a version of that. But with the Seasonics, it doesn't work. You have to flip it both on at the same time. It doesn't matter if there's an add 2 PSU. Somehow it knows. I don't know how it knows, but it does.
Yeah, and we're using like Seasonics. Somebody asked about power supplies. We're using the Seasonic.
Yeah.
I think they're 1600 watt ones or 1500 watt. I can't remember.
They're 1600.
Yeah.
1 second. Let me. But Max says, depending on the number of PCI lanes, especially if you want to run 16 lanes, you can always add enough random storage. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Max is like, you know, you're gonna have to split the lanes. I mean, Jared knows this a lot better, but it's, you know, with a single epic, you can only get so many lanes, or PCIe lanes actually physically on the board, right? The epics can actually go a little bit higher, but the boards that we use only have 5 actual lanes on them. So you can either have 5 cards, or if you want to have 10, you got to split it and do 8x on it.
Yeah, so that gets challenging, and then what it gets into is like getting into like Roam boards, you know what I mean, with like all the slim SAS connections, and then you're starting to talk about really expensive motherboards, right? and CPUs, where the cost goes up. The cost goes up greatly, but it also gives you a better experience, right, and better connectivity for the GPUs. So it's the AI stuff is super expensive to get into, and it just depends on how, you know, what fits your budget. You know, I have a 7. What was it? I have mine on my mining frame over here. I need to figure out what's going on with that. But I have a 7742 on an H12, and it's a decent board. You can get, you know, 5 GPUs on it, which is a decent amount, right? It's gonna get you above the normal grind of things, right? You know what I mean? So you could put it on like Vast or any of the other platforms. I think 5's a good number. You don't need a lot of power supplies. You don't need to get like a couple terabytes of RAM, which is real. The RAM is going to kill you, right? RAM, storage, and all the power supplies. You know what I mean? Like each power supply is what, like, I don't know, $400. You know what I mean?
Well, it depends. You know, do you want one that works or one that you're going to have to return 3 times?
You just go on eBay. He's just like, hey, I know this is $349.99, but okay, there's eBay fees, shipping, and all this. Okay, how about I give you 200?
Yeah. No, I for sure violated eBay's terms and conditions probably a couple times here. I like put my phone number like spread out, right? Like I put like 2 sentences and I just put my phone number like in the middle of words.
Hey Mike, do me a favor and text me the Terra Wi-Fi password in here because I don't have it. You took down the T-Mobile internet that we had here.
It's Starlink now. I think this might be it, but I'll text it to you. Right. But yeah, if Mike wants to show the camera talking about all the power supplies, I have my rigs there, and it's a nightmare with the power supplies. Mike probably laughed when he walked in there and looked at it. But yeah, I mean that's what you're working with when you have, you know, because mine are 8 cards, right? Like Terra has a platform. I don't have mine on the same platform as Terra, obviously. Like it's, you know, you can't compete with that company, right? And when it comes to AI, you know what I mean? It's, oh God. It's in the other room, Mike. It's the actual rig that's running.
Oh, I thought you meant the box of power supplies.
Oh no one wants to see a bunch of the very large Omega frames. I was gonna make a joke about how many there are there, but yeah, if you're gonna go, mine are 8 cards, right? So there it is. It's
2. Wasn't there one with 5? No, there's only 4.
No, yeah, there's 4. It's a nightmare. The 8 card ones are, in my opinion, those are the best for Vast. That's why I set it up like that. Terra has a different setup because 8 cards are not necessarily make the most sense for the platform that we're on, right? So it's yeah. So let's see here. Seasonic Prime for the win. Yeah, that's why I think we're using Seasonic Prime for all of them. You just run yours with dummy plugs. Yeah, that's the way to do it because I don't think it somehow picks up the add to PSU. I don't know how, like it'll turn on even though the master power supply is not on.
Oh, there's one spinning.
Yep, there it goes.
But they're all rented, which is it's pretty weird. But yeah, they're all rented. These are the L40s, right?
No, those are the A6000 ADAs.
A6000, sorry. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, my bad.
We learned something really fun at Terra, and that was that the L40Ss don't have fans on them.
Oh yeah, no, they don't. Well, I mean that's why they're designed to go into something like this where you don't really need the GPU to have a fan.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I was gonna open it up, but I'm afraid to touch it.
Which one? The
L40?
Oh, yeah, please don't touch it. It's that case. I didn't post any pictures of it or anything online because it's we have our stuff, but it's intense. That's what I'll say. When I open the case, I'm like, this thing is huge. Like this is just ridiculous, right? And then once you fill it, you're like, they saved every square inch they could, and then it makes sense, right? Like data centers, like it's cost per square inch in a data center for cost. So like it makes sense that the whole thing is going to be as tight as possible. But that was I want to say for the price, that was probably the most scary computer I've ever put together. But let's see, max voltage. I have 5 power supplies running on my 84090 rig, 4 1600 watt PSUs and 1 750 that only powers a motherboard. Yeah,
that's what I was recommending because there were some issues that we're running into, but he does that because there's voltage regulation for that, and because there's spikes in the GPU usage, and sometimes that can trigger the motherboard voltage detection.
You know what I think is interesting too, and this is tinfoil hat theory, but I think it also depends on what platform you're on, right? Like we've ran into issues with different platforms. Look at all the flux nodes.
Yeah, there's nothing here. I looked, but just saying.
Yeah.
It looks good.
There's some big boy epics in there.
Yeah, I remember I was setting up these drives on this one right here, and they didn't come with the cages. So King was like, damn, like they didn't come with the cages to slide the hard drive. So I'm literally just like bootlegging it. I put something underneath the drive to make it level, and just slid it in, and they work. So nobody touch it.
I did not tell him to do that. He did that on his own. I would strictly professional around here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, what were they? I think those drives were the cost-effective ones. Is that what we?
No, they were the Intel, not Intel. They were the
U.2.
The enterprise level. The enterprise level ones.
The U.2 NVMEs.
Yeah. I know we had a couple ones which had some issues.
All right, well, you guys enjoy your lovely little live stream. I have to call Max and go over this Octo server because he had issues with it. And he has a few things he's got to show me how to fix. Because apparently in the Octo server, these cables, everything's running on an 8X. So in order to get it to a 16, you got to take one of these SlimSAS cables and move it over to the other side of this board here. So I got to pull this out, plug it, and then I got to make sure that it all works. So
is that an Epic?
Yeah, it's just an Epic. Yeah, it's a single Epic. Yeah.
Okay, it's Gen 4 too. All of them are running off one PCIe, or is it? How is that set up?
It's Gen 4. Yeah, it's Gen 4.
Okay. It's Gen 4. It's Gen 4, 8 lanes, and that could do 12 cards. But they need to be. But it needs to be two. Only like a 2-card width, right? Because you can't get 124090s in there.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm gonna put 4. I actually had a piece that I had to take out that was right here, a cover, because I couldn't fit the slims in there. It was hitting it, which was weird because Max didn't have it in his. So I'm gonna mess with this a little bit, but I'm probably only gonna really put. If I can squeeze them in here, I'll try to put at least 8. Because what's weird is like even on the front here, you have room for like one more. So, yeah. But I don't even know what these power cables go to. And then I don't know, just so many weird things. I mean, it's made well. I like it, but it's got some quirks that would have to work through. But I guess that's just every server. I guess everything just kind of has their own things to it. So it is what it is.
That's
But
a different PDU, right? I just want to make sure.
it's on, Mike. I'm sharing this one with you. Okay, are you happy? All right, I'm sharing this one with you. You had 2 amps on this, Mike. Calm down.
I'm saying once that goes up, though, put it on a different PDU, because if you add 5 cards to it, it's going to go over. That's exactly what I said not to do.
Your rig is all spinning at 2 amps.
I know, because that one's like not even rented right now. So there's other PDUs there. Just put it on a different one.
What he's saying is look, he's accounted for all the power usage on that one PDU with things not rented and being rented.
Yeah, Mike, that'll trip. I don't want to go all the way up there. Just put it on a
I'm going to come over there and I'm going to trip you. That's what I'm going to do. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. As soon as you walk right out of the bathroom, it's going to go.
Successfully did the one thing I said not to do.
Well, it's all right. I'll move it when I deploy it.
Yeah. But there's a couple PDUs that are just on the ground there, but
yeah, just pick it up off the floor. Yeah. Oh, here you go. Here, we'll pick up this piece of shit over here. I'll use it. Don't worry about it.
Is it cold in there though? Everything's good.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't smell a fire, so
that's always good news, right? But all right, Mike. Well, we have someone else coming in here, Mike. I'm not sure if you want to wait, but
no, that's Mike's nice way of saying get the hell out of here. All right.
No. I'm saying you can stay on if you want. But
I gotta call Max. I need his help with this. I need his help with this.
I don't want to jump back in if you want.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, sure. All right. Hey, great talking to you, man. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, this was great, Mike. Yeah, we got to do this more often.
Yeah, we do.
All right. Here, I want to show you this, Jarrett, real quick while we're waiting for the special guest, or the second special guest of the night. Here, I'll bring this down if he jumps in. But this is the Grafana thing. Remember that? You're the one that showed me this.
Yeah. Analytics for BAS.
Yeah, it shows the usage for it, and I thought what was weird here is you could see it kind of going up and down right away. Do you think there's bots on here now that are kind of like renting and unrenting to kind of like doing? Because I always thought of that, right? Like kind of like an AI platform arbitrage where, like, just say you're part of a different platform that's private, right? Like, right. And could you just go on Vast and rent unverified machines, load up on their Docker, the other platform's Docker, and do it? I know that I probably sound like an idiot, but like, I mean, is that possible?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, if they have the APIs and all that stuff, they could definitely do it. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's beyond me. I mean, I honestly see that there's going to be an uptick over the next 30 days because I honestly think that, you know, all the college kids and schools are starting back up. So I think AI is going to pick back up because that's who I think really uses this. This is more like budget friendly. Mm-hmm. Any like people doing chat GBT or like really big like official work related stuff, they're not using these platforms. They're using, you know, AWS, you know what I mean? They're using like big boy stuff.
Max is saying not bots, but short jobs, really short jobs. Some of them hit my rigs. It was annoying as hell. I wonder what it is right now that's causing that. Or maybe this view is only 30 days, right? Maybe that's the problem. Let's do last 90 days. I don't know. Maybe the spikes will be not as
severe.
Yeah, no, you don't see it as much.
Whoa, look at that dip right there in early July. Woo.
Yeah, that's where you want to load up, honestly. And then you can also see like, you know, more verified ones, right? Like because recently, I've gotten verified on Vast. Some of my machines have. And I didn't know this until today, but you can run a script that puts you in line for verification. Do you know about that?
No.
Okay.
Really?
Let me share. I did it on a machine today because it was having issues, which let me share the issue with you too, because I was so annoyed by this. It drove me through the wall. If you list a machine on Vast before it's fully it populates with like your internet speed and your PCI bandwidth, if you try to list it before that, it won't list. Like you won't be able to search and find the machine. which was driving me nuts because I would install VAST and I would list it right away, right? And it caused all these issues, which is super annoying. So if anyone's out there that's having problems, it's I think VAST rents the server. That's interesting. But yeah, I was having a lot of issues. So I found this through this here. Let me pull this up because I almost typed in VAST King Guide. That's how you know how much I use that one. Here, I'll pull this up. Is a GitHub, but we do have a guest in the back. I'm going to wait till he tells me he's ready to.
I think he sent the message. I think it's a private message that says that he is. I think if you check the stream, check the StreamYard for private chat, which is a chat between just us people.
Okay, yeah, he's ready. I'll pull him in here real quick. All right. Let me switch it. We're going to come back to this king, though. All right, here we go. Mr.
Hello.
In the flesh.
Look at that.
Got the
On
whole
Wired Wednesdays.
Got the whole Terra squad in here now.
Yeah, we had Mike for a second, but he's doing stuff up in Melbourne. But what's going on, Frank? Welcome to the stream. You got to come on the streams more.
Oh yeah, let me do that.
Yeah. But we have 66 people watching. We have 31 on Twitter and 34 on YouTube. So
nice, almost the whole world.
Yeah, Mr. Crypto Frank is here. If anyone has questions for him, go ahead and bombard the whole comment section, and we will have them answered. But so Frank, what's going on? I guess you're the guest now, so we have to ask you questions. Is that how this goes?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm just connecting my YouTube, I guess, to StreamYard.
Yeah.
Oh, you can connect it to StreamYard, or if you're not hosting.
Well, I gotta, in order to write back in the comments or something. I don't know.
Okay.
No, as a guest, as a guest, you're not going to be able to see the comments. I have two windows that are right next to each other. I make the stream a little bit shorter, more narrow, and then I have another page with the comments on it. That's how I do it on my laptop.
Yeah.
It's weird now though because I could talk to everybody instead of just typing in the chat. So I guess that was pointless.
Yeah. Consumer says he has a 4-card machine that just gets hit for 30 seconds, then goes off. Maybe there's something wrong with it because I had the same issue, and there was definitely something wrong with mine.
I mean,
I'll pull this up here.
It could have been an update that got pushed through, and maybe workloads are being affected by it, right? So they're going to have to come out with a fix for it, maybe.
Here, can I put a GitHub link, or do I get banned on YouTube? I don't know. We'll see.
No,
I just put it in the chat. But this is what the GitHub looks like that I used, which I'm sure you've seen probably. But they have like this speed test, or no, where is it? Is this it?
Are you looking for the tool? No, you're looking for the tools. That's JJ Isit's.
That's easy to read.
Is that what you're looking for? You're looking for the tools that does like all the fanless or the headless fan control and the speed testing and all that. Is that what you're looking for?
No, let me see. I pulled up the wrong one. I've had so many today.
Craig's asking the Terra team if we're going to be at the mining conference out there in Minnesota. And from what I know, I don't think we're going to that one, right, Frank?
No. Which one's that? Is that Solana or is it just another conference?
Yeah, it's a small conference that's ran by those guys that interviewed Hawk out there in Nashville. What's the
I can't remember what it was called.
It's a smaller conference.
Oh.
It's more, yeah. And then Frank, you got a question. How do you motivate your employees to remain focused?
I think motivation comes from everyone having the same end goal.
Yeah.
We have a concept, an idea, and we have a goal. So everyone's looking at that goal, and we figure out what we have to do to get there. And everyone has their roles, and as long as everyone accomplishes their end, we all end up at the same end. So, a treasure.
And verbal threats. No, I'm just kidding.
They just lock me. They just lock me away downstairs, and I don't get to come out of the dungeon until the work's done.
Yeah, King doesn't really get out much. That's why it doesn't. Have
Yeah, he's actually he's not allowed to leave his house.
How many nodes are you having to put up, King?
So far, I just did the last one. I created this last couple for this client here. I think we're at 30 or so, and then there's somebody that is coming over from another platform, but I think they're waiting for a payout, and I think they got like maybe 4 or 5. So I mean, we got a good amount. I would say maybe like 35-ish so far in the first day. I'll probably refresh it here in a minute. I've been watching the forum page. There is some names in there I noticed. So if there's anyone watching and you signed up for a node, make sure you fill out your form, or else we can't make your node without it. So
Yeah.
if there's anybody listening out there.
Yeah, we've had a large influx of nodes today. It's been good.
Influx. I like it.
Yeah. Terra's always been like a big supporter of Flux, and they've helped us out a lot too, right? Like in the beginning, we host some of their Titan infrastructure and all of that. So it's one of those things where, you know, if we can offer it, why not? Because a lot of people have to like maintain a certain price for them because they're renting the machines on centralized data centers like AWS, Hetzner, and all of those. I'm not going to call any of them out, but a lot of them do that. Whereas us, you know, you just saw Mike walking around the data center. We bought all the hardware. We host all the hardware. Our only overhead other than the equipment that we purchased is the bandwidth, right? Nodes don't really require a whole lot of power. So that's good.
And
Voices Adventures. But yeah, King's been working a lot on the nodes here, but I posted the wrong link to the GitHub, Jarrett. I posted the new one, and this is it. This is what I was talking about, the self-verification test. Have you seen this?
No. Is that new? Is it from the JJ? Is it from the JJ Zietz Vast Tools or no?
Yes.
Yeah, it is. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, so
he has the install guide here, which he copied from you, and then he has the verification stuff here, which I thought was kind of interesting. So it's what it does is it basically tests your machine and I guess puts it in line for verification. Like there's some kind of line that they have for verification. But I was having an issue. So
this like preemptively, like instead of waiting for Bass to come do this to your machine, you could just do it yourself and kind of just force it to happen, I guess, more quickly than usual.
I think.
The verification process on Bass is so it's crazy, right? I had that 3060 I first put on there, and that thing got verified like right away, right? And then I put up a bunch of 3090s and 3080 Ti's just everywhere, and I think I had those on for like the better part of 6 months, and I only got like 3 of the 10 verified. It's just like luck of the draw, kind of. You know what I mean? So it's.
Do you think it's like based on like availability and whatnot? I have like a conspiracy theory that it's like if you have a machine that there's not a lot of other machines that are similar, you're on like kind of a fast track for verification.
I do think that like if the like what you said, if your machine is more desirable because there's less verified machines, then I think yes, it would make it more quicker for you to get verified that way. But that could cost you lots of money, right? Because usually it's the really expensive GPUs that are, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That they don't have as many verified machines. Like 4090s, single 4090s, they are completely flooded with those.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really difficult to do it. The one chart I saw earlier today when I was looking at this was like the this percentage, and of like how many cards are on the actual platform and how many are actually rented. I think that's what this is, right? Yeah, green means over 66% rented. So 4070 Ti's, 94.7% are rented, but there's only 19 of them. 93.8 for 4060 Ti's, 16. But it seems like the 4000 series is by far the most rented, except for this. I don't know what an RTX 8000 is. You probably know that one, Jarrett. But and then the 3080s seem rented too, with 54 of them. I just thought it was interesting seeing that. It's maybe it has something to do with it. I don't know, but I know that like I had a bunch of 2-card 4090 rigs, and 2 of them got verified. The rest were not. Then I combined some of them into 4-card ones, never verified, and then I combined them into an 8-card one, and then all of a sudden verified. And I think it might just be because there's less of them available. That's the only thing I could possibly think of why.
Well, right, because customers, they're trying to set the tone for their customers, right? That they have some stable machines that have been on the platform for a while. And then Frank, you got another question from Vinny here. Yeah, looks like he's getting you right now.
The most profitable, I guess I would have to say, is the AI side when it comes to how much it costs in labor to maintain it versus hosting or any other part of the company. But it also costs a lot more to build up. So you got to take that into a factor. And then just to go on your other question too, the hardest part about any of these small, like a small business or a concept with friends, is taking it from that idea and making it into a company. Because becoming a company and going corporate and actually having, like no one likes our task management software. It's nice because you're organized, but then everyone has to deal with it. So going from one phase to another in companies, that's one of the hardest things. Just to go on that other question you had earlier. But I would say the AI side is the most profitable over the long haul versus everything else we got going on.
Yeah. I think so too. And it requires a different kind of
smarts.
Yeah, that's why we have Jarrett. But it's a lot like mining, but it's a lot different. It requires a lot different infrastructure, right? Like the whole Lumen thing, right? Like it's we kind of just gave Jarrett like this hose that was like 100 gig fiber tunnel. We're like, we know it. Where there's a light at the end of this, and we know that light will connect everything in here to it. But it's just a different. Every branch, I guess, comes with its own set of advantages and disadvantages, and and all of that.
Lumen took how long to come in? How long did the internet take to come in?
About 9 months, 8 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They said they're going to do better next time.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a learning curve with every sector, right? And that I think is what's great about Terra is we're a true like hybrid model, right? Like we do hosting for GPUs, ASICs. We have our own AI side, working on our own kind of marketplace thing in the future, and then of course we have Terra hashes for retail sales, where you can buy an ASIC from people that you see on the screen here and not worry about whether you're going to get it or not. So that's a big thing. Amplify Gamer, what's up? What am I looking at right now? Right now, this is just some charts. I'll change it to something fun here. This is just a vast thing that I put the link to. But Vinny Del Greco has another one for Crypto Frank. It says, he's ran his business for 17 years. He's always trying to learn from other business models to help me reflect and learn. Thanks for the time. And Crypto Frank reached out. Yeah,
you were
right
talking.
when I. Yeah. But Here, let me switch this so it's not blaring everyone. Yeah, I think it was a good point, Frank, that you said, like, you know, going from like, because I feel like this all starts from like a hobby, right, and then turning it into a business, and then you're kind of like forced to implement business, organization strategies, and all the kind of things that weren't part of the hobby, right? And that's kind of like a hard transition to do and like learn, especially in a hybrid model like this, where it's like, okay, we don't just need a task management thing that works on, you know, ASIC hosting. We need it for GPUs. We need it for AI. We need it for, you know, the nodes, like what, you know, what Jarrett's doing. And it's kind of building it from the ground up, right? That's the most difficult part. But, you know, yeah, it's working. It's working well. And I'm really happy with the management software that we're using. So it's just, I didn't realize how much work actually goes into these things for it, but it's exciting. So
yeah.
Eatable zebra, where are the banana-omics? I could bring it up, but it's only posted once every month. But the prices of bananas are going down, so I think inflation is curbed. Golden Wolf, who's on the screen I'm driving? It is GPURisers, the Mining King, and Crypto Frank. Sadly, Dave was unavailable tonight. He has some other obligations that he's doing, so
that's the only reason I'm on.
Yeah. Dave would want to be on with you.
I know.
He's going to be super jealous when he watches this tomorrow. Dave, I know you're going to be watching this tomorrow. Actually, when you see this clip. Gaming with Soki, Dan. Did you hear about 4070s being made with GDDR6 and not the X memory due to shortages, but same price as the 6X and no way to tell them apart? No, I did not hear that. Did not hear that.
Man, I went into the first Micro Center in Florida last weekend, and they had so many 4090s, 4080s, 4070s, and then every single AMD.
It was in stock?
Yeah, they're all just sitting there behind glass.
Oh, wow.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I was always so jealous of people that were near a Micro Center during like the shortages, because they would always get a card, you know. But yeah, no, Frank sent me some text of everything in Micro Center. It looks sick. I got to make my way down there. But Amplifier Gamer, GPURisers is going to sell my KSO Ultra and buy some Caspa, and you're going to sell your 5700X motherboard to get onto the AM5 socket. Yeah, I don't know. I think the KSO Ultras and everything are they're good for, you know, getting into it and figuring out how ASICs work, how pools work, and everything like that. But I feel like, I don't know, Jared, you probably could answer this the best. I mean, is it too late to be in the KSO game for Caspa?
All right. Let's just say I spent money on KS3Ms, used ones a little while back, and I'm probably going to struggle to make it back. Right. I'm probably going to have to play on like Cedra and Bugna, you know what I mean, a little bit to be able to do that. I wouldn't even buy KS5Ls. I wouldn't buy any of that. I wouldn't buy any Caspa miners. Like, if you look, go to what to mine.
Ouch, that's a lot of hash.
Yeah, go to what to mine, and then look at the yield. I just want to put this in perspective, because when I say this number, it's going to be crazy. And then, okay, go to the top of what to mine, and then go to the ASIC that has the new marker. No, the other ASIC one that has like the red new symbol. There you go. And then let's just look at the yield of how much Caspa does the KS5 Pro make. What does that bring in?
23 a day.
No, not dollars. How much actual Caspa coins?
Oh, it has it in BTC.
Right below it, though. Right below it, it has 180, 183, 191. Okay, I want to put this in perspective. Not even a year ago, not even 1 year has it been, when I received, in November, I received my KS1. I was doing 270 Caspa a day on that KS1, even though that thing's a brick now. And I'm glad I sold that too, because that was I got my money back. I was like, I'm out of here. But just think about that machine is already done and outpaced. And this machine right here, I don't know what the KS5 Pro goes for. It was like $12,000 or something like that, right? Something crazy. You know what I mean? That it only gives you 180 something Caspa a day. When the other machine that I had not even a year ago gave you 270.
Yeah.
So just think about that. This thing is not going to make it another 6 months, and then it's going to be you'll be mining Cedra and Bugna with these machines. You know what I mean? Because there's just way too much hash rate on Caspa. And there was another ASIC years ago. I can't remember which one it is, and maybe somebody in the chat can remind me, but there was an ASIC that Bitmain developed, and they put out way too many, and it killed all the profitability for it because they produced too many, right? This is going to need some serious price appreciation.
Yeah, I mean, I think so as well. But it seems like Caspa's been on a pretty good road with that, and I feel like I've been kind of, I don't want to say pessimistic about Caspa, but it's a mixture of just, you know, I don't know where it's going to go past ETH merge, mixed with a little bit of, you know, Bitmain's making the ASICs now and Ice River and everything like that. But a lot of people that got into these made their money back already. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, what's your goal with it? Is you know, like at this point, is it good to buy a new one? Is it probably not? And where's the price going to go? You know,
I would say if you're just trying to get into Caspa, and it's like, look, if you're, I mean, that's an expensive start right there to a hobby, buying a KS5 Pro. I mean, if you're going to spend money like the KSO Ultra, or smaller ASICs like that, if I was you and you're just doing this from a strict, I want to make, you know, I'm trying to make the best return on my investment, I would just buy it, right?
Yeah.
But I would just buy it today. That will do you better than any of the small little miners like from Gold Show or Ice River and all that. I think it's just a complete waste of money.
Yeah, it might be. Retro Mike, thank you for being 2 months of being Mike's favorite subscriber on YouTube, and also gifting 1 membership. I appreciate it. Again, I don't have anything for my members yet, but I will figure something out. Mr. Crypto Craig with the super chat. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have a large AI data center here with the people to run it that can have Terra's name on it. Dual 5 to 12 megawatt feeds, dual fiber, cooling pods, profits. Just saying. Hit me up.
He's been mentioning that to me for a while now.
It's enticing.
There's
Must be a hard sale.
What are their views on containers in the back running? You know what's crazy is like thinking about like these AI data centers for like Google, Meta, you know, Microsoft with OpenAI and X. Like they're building like 200 to 400 megawatt data centers, and how much AI, like how much money it costs to just the AI equipment that goes into that many megawatts is just like mind blowing. It's just crazy.
Well, this is something that Goat said, and Goat, he does a lot of Microsoft Azure stuff. You know what I mean? And he's kind of in the scene a little bit. That a lot of companies are not even using the technology yet, right? That they're not ready for it yet. You know what I mean? I think the AI play is very early still. You know what I mean? You're going to see this really explode over the next 10 years. This is nothing so far. It's going to go real crazy over the next 10 years.
Yeah, I think so too. You know, I know a lot of people say AI is a craze, and I think the craze part of it and the overvaluation sides that like a lot of these, you know, money managers and you know, companies are investing in, like every new AI startup, right? It's Stable Diffusion, but it's different. Or it's a new text-to-text, but it's different. You know, in all of these different companies that are doing this, I think are just, there will be a bubble with that, right? Like it's just all these different mousetraps. What's not going to be a bubble and what's going to be on a steady rise are companies that are investing in the data center, like build-outs, you know what I mean? The energy companies and everything like that are going to be the real winners here in the next 10 years. But,
yeah.
I think AI, like King's saying, is just starting. And it feels a lot like when GPUs first started coming out, they were like 2 megs, 4 megs, 8 megs, 16 megs. Then they just kept growing and growing and growing, where right now, I don't think we're even capable of making it complex enough to really take advantage of the compute power that's out there. And then once we understand how to do what we need to do, then that's going to be when AI really takes off.
Yeah. Vinny Del Greco, I have 6 KSO first batch they made back. Then bought 2 first batch KS3s in December, and they have almost paid back. Yeah, see, that's the thing is, if you're going to do it, you got to do it, right? And I know that that's like the worst feeling because these ASICs are like crazy, right? Like these lithium ones are like 30 grand or something, but it's like, it's better to buy it now at 30K than it is next month at 20K. You know what I mean? Like waiting for the price to go down, but you don't see the curve with the hash rate going up. It's risky. It's risky.
But right. But they have one. You have the ever increasing hash rate of all these miners, and then it also has a 5% reduction, right, for its emissions every month. So it's just like it's like Bitcoin is like using meth right now. Is what it is, right?
Yeah.
That's what I consider it to be. You know what I mean? And actually, man, I've really started to like my old Z15 miner. You know what I mean? I've contemplated even doing a Z15 Pro because there's no competition in Equihash when it comes to ASICs. And if you look at the chart right now for Horizon or Zen, right, it's always popped every bull run, right? You know what I mean? The first bull run that it was in was the 2017, 2018, and it went up to like $60, $70, right? Following bull run was on like $170, right? So it's always done better compared to like Zcash, which is just like tanked, right? It's garbage, and it's at like $7 right now, right?
Yeah.
So if it's at $7 and its last all-time high was like 170, you know what I mean? That's over a 20x. You know what I mean? So that's kind of how I'm looking at it. It's definitely a speculative play, but the Z15 is profitable. The old one, it's 4 years old and it makes like $3 a day. What ASIC on the planet right now that's 4 years old is making money?
Yeah, it's true. It's a good point. It's I don't know. I mean, the L7s are going pretty good. Are those 4 years old yet? The L7s?
No, not yet. They're getting there a little bit though. But the thing I'm afraid of most with script mining is there's so much competition coming in now, right? You got alpha packs coming in. The local tech, they just announced on Twitter a few days ago that they're closing their initial pre-order now, which tells me that they're getting, I don't know, maybe more ready into launching a product to launching the hash blades.
I hope so.
So to me, it's just like you got Locotech, you have Bitmain, you have Gold Shell, Alpha Packs, and then the Alpha Packs one that they had, the 2U, right? That thing was a rough calculation was like 2 terahash, not gigahash, 2 terahash. There's not even anything like that on the market, and I'm just worried that there's too many manufacturers coming out, and they're going to keep pushing on the script and Doge. And I think you're going to have another problem where it's going to drive down the profitability because there's too many manufacturers making machines.
I just don't see a company coming out with something that's so far advanced and saying, okay, here, you could buy it, versus just running it themselves. Like it seems like such a poor business model. Like I would rather just take all the money and not give it to other people.
Yeah, they're definitely running it right now. I did the numbers on it. It's like $1 million a year that they're making off. If that really is 2 terahash, it's like $1 million they make profit.
Yeah, and then I guess they just give everyone the used stuff.
Yeah.
Afterward.
Yeah. Well, no, they clean it up. You know, they give it the electric jacuzzi bath and make it look good. But maybe that's what they do, right? Like, I feel like if I owned a company that came out with this revolutionary script, chip or whatever, right? I would run it until I start seeing other companies kind of get closer to it and figuring it out. You know what I mean? And then I would sell it. If that makes sense.
I can tell you, Jazz Miner and Bitmain, they all do it because I've gotten miners from them that have scratches on them and stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh, it's brand new. That's just from manufacturing."
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks. And by the way, I can't return this, right? No, you can't.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's also a bird stuck in one of the.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Hey, Mike, I'm sharing my screen here. If you want to show everybody, I got the.
Okay. Yeah, let me pop this up.
I got the green light here. This is.
Oh, nice.
Now, just full disclosure. This is just. I'm testing this out. It's not in. We're not launching it yet, but I'm working with Hive. But this is like what a client. This is the client view. Obviously, it says client C. I'm just testing some other ASICs here. I was having a little issues getting this one to read, but it looks like it's working now. So you can have your earnings, your hash rate, and stuff like that. Now, this particular client setup is only for view only, right? Where you would just come in here and you could just see your ASICs, but you couldn't control them. But we're able to give you control if you want, if you want that kind of access, but not all clients want that access. Some people aren't skilled and they just want to come in and just look at it. Hopefully, though, soon there'll be more options over here for like shipping, so you can see units that are inbound with tracking numbers and stuff like that. So I really like the Hive OS feel, man. It feels way easier to read. I feel it's much cleaner than Foreman.
Yeah, it's organized very well too. I don't know what I can say or can't say, so I'm not going to say much. But what you were showing the other day with like site maps. I mean, that's on there now, right? Like the site maps and being able to organize it in different ways and everything was. It seems like that they put a lot of time into this.
Yeah, they have. And this is just the customer view. This isn't actually what you would see as like a site owner, like for us. This is I'm just showing what you guys would see as if I gave you a client view. Mm-hmm. And then obviously you can go down to your workers and you can just check out your workers right here. And these have been online this whole time, but this is just when I brought these over to here to start registering the information. You can see the flight sheets and wattages and terahash of temperatures, fans.
That looks really nice there.
What type of board is on here? This is, what type of control board's on the units. What kernel is it
so
running?
you can see if it has like an Epic board or something like that, like if it's swapped out.
Yeah, it'll tell you. It'll tell you. So, yeah,
the dashboard looks great. Are they going to have like do they have an iPad, like an iPhone and an iPad app? They do, don't they? I haven't used Hive in so long.
Now, so this is they build this kind of custom tailored to the customer. So I don't know if you could run this part on the phone. I haven't tried it yet. I'm still messing around with this, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And taking it for a test drive. But so far I like it. I like that there's a lot of AI automation. There's going to be things to like predict weather and things like that. These guys they're kind of taking everything in too, and they're willing to work with us. Like, I could ask them to put something like this, right? Because I'm also talking to these guys too to be able to use the enterprise solution for like the GPUs, and I'm going to try to see if these guys since this has an API, could I get them to integrate some type of button on the GPU side that would give people the option to cycle their GPU rig, right? Because there's a lot of times they have to get, if you just turn them on and off and just get them to cycle, they'll come back. And I'm working with Marcus, and I don't know, if you guys are familiar with Marcus from Hive OS or not, but he's the one that developed the Octominer software, right, for all the Octo features. So that's the person I'm working with right now. Him and Andre, one of their lead developers.
What if you get that one person that just keeps trying to restart it?
See, that's the other thing is like you got a guy who's just like mashing the button. So there's going to have to be like a timeout, obviously. You know what I mean? Per request. Otherwise, you're just going to have somebody like tripping this thing and like, I want my rig back on.
Yeah, that's the thing is it's like, how much do you want to give to the client side? Like where does it cross over from the best service that we can offer to this client might cause an issue? You know what I mean? Like,
right. But I
like
mean, I have a good. I've dealt with all the customers at least one time or another, so I kind of have a feel of who is skilled and who's not skilled, and then and who likes to really move the rigs around a lot. Right? There's some customers who like to move the rigs around all the time and chase all the coins, which they're free to do. But they also get tripped up the most, right? Because usually their rigs crash, right? Because they're moving them around, really often. And then there's other clients that we manage for that I still have a guy that's mining Flux for like the last, I don't know, like year and a half. You know what I mean? Like he hasn't moved off of it, and he just wanted to mine Flux, and he gave us his wallet, and he's like, yeah, I don't manage the rigs. You guys just do it. So it's those kind of people. They wouldn't need access to this, right? Because they would never use it.
Yeah.
It'd be nice if you could choose who gets the button and who doesn't.
Yeah. I'm sure I can get Marcus to do that. That way, I can take I could ban their privileges.
No button for you. 1 year.
Yeah, that'll be good.
I guess it would be good for them to have that option in like a more friendly manner, right? Instead of a ban button, it would be like a level user, like level 1 to level 5, right? For how advanced they are, and then you could. Like you want to stop them from hurting themselves, if that makes sense too, right? Like from being able to apply aggressive overclocks, or some customers apply such aggressive underclocks and it becomes unstable, right? And all these different things. So maybe that would be something that they can add. But it's like, I don't know, it's like that with any business, right? Or anything that you're trying to implement is like, what's too complicated, or do you keep it stupid simple? But.
Right, or maybe even just giving me the ability only to be able to do this, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Only my account, and then I can give it out to a select few people there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's some advanced users.
Yeah. And Jarrett was showing this to me yesterday, and he was like, "Look, I can add you to it." I'm like, "Please don't add me to it. I'm going to click something. I'm going to get in trouble with this. Like, I don't want access. I just want to view it when you're sharing it with me."
The nice thing though about it is in the future there's going to be like they're working on an implementation for QuickBooks, so this way. That's what Mike wants. Look at that. He's so happy right now. He's containing it right now where all the billing's automated in Hive, right? And you can have the API pull the power from this, you know what I mean? Have it generate a bill, and then you just go inside Hive OS and just pay for it, right? As well as I mentioned to them, because we were talking about having work orders inside of Hive OS. For the ASICs, because we're potentially switching to ASICs for them too, but having work orders in there, and then also having QuickBook payments for that as well. Like, let's say I do like a control board swap, you know what I mean? You could charge for the control board and the labor, right, inside of there, and the customer can just pay the bill inside of there. Like, I think it would be good, because then everything's just inside of one platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Instead of sending people to multiple places.
Yeah.
I just know that it has to work with QuickBooks. That's just Mike's thing. He's just.
Well, it creates everything more automated on the business side, but also for the customer, I think it's better too, because it's there's transparency with billing, right? That's always like a big concern, is how am I being billed? Why is my bill different? I noticed a lot of the times why the bill is different is, as crazy as it sounds, a bill will fluctuate just from a month being 30 or 31 days or 29 days, like February or something. So having a automated system where it's like, hey, this is your bill, and you get it on QuickBooks, you'll be able to like reference that with Hive OS, right? Which I'm trying to think, as a customer, I would like that as well. So seeing an implementation from that is I think really good, because I do see hosting as more of an avenue where people are going that are getting into crypto, right? It's even if hosting is more expensive than how much your house electric is, you don't have this machine, this 3,500 watts that's going to cause an argument every time at dinner. You know what I mean? It's it's better. Then your machine's taken care of, it's in the proper environment and all that stuff. But I think it's smart that these companies like Hive are implementing that, for transparency and for hosting companies.
Yeah, there's a few other things. They have a ticketing system. Right now, the ticketing system is just for like me and a tech to talk back and forth, but I can have it set up for customers, obviously. But the nice thing is though, is on the customer side though, because what we'll do is we'll set up, QR codes for each machine. So this way, like every time, let's just say, we hire Crypto Craig to come work for us, right? Like, and he's my tech. You could, every time Crypto Craig goes out and scans an ASIC, it's going to say, okay, Craig was here. And then he'll have his notes, right, of what was done that day. And you can keep an active track of all the time it's had to be hard resets. He replaced a power supply, a control board, a GPU, whatever, every time. And we'll set it up for the Octaminers too, to where you'll be able to put pictures in there and have log events of all the service that's been done to your guys' stuff and everything. And then they're also working with a couple of the top repair companies for ASICs here in the US to have a tracking system for like ASIC repairs. So this way you can see where it is in the ASIC repair process. Okay, company A received it. Okay, now it's being looked at by the technician. It's been diagnosed, right? Currently being fixed, right? And then like being shipped back out. You can't afford Crypto Craig.
It's nice they're adding this whole system in there. That's something that I feel has been lacking for like a long time, and it looks great too. That's a plus, right? Like, there's always an evil. There's always an even mix between the two, right?
I'm trying to talk him into because I know, Frank and Hawk would like it to be like a white labeled, so that it would be like all Terra colors and just like a little symbol, powered by Flux. So I'm working on it.
Yeah, I mean, Hive kind of looks a little bit like they have the purple, right? A little bit in there.
Yeah.
So but it's close, right? They just need to flip the color palette.
The really cool thing is that they're building these systems to their customer, right? So I mean, if there's ideas we have later down the road that we want to implement, we can just get a hold of them and have a call and see what we can do to get it implemented. So, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting a hold of Foreman. I dislike Foreman. I'm going to be honest. I don't like their platform. It's not very intuitive. And that's just me personally. I maybe I'm just being non-biased because I just like Hive OS and that's always what I've used, but yeah.
Well, I think what's nice about Hive, just from outside looking in, seeing you talk to them like at these conferences and how you interact with them, like they're a lot like you, right? Like they're GPU miners, they're ASIC miners, they've been in the crypto industry for a long time. Whereas maybe Foreman's just more, I don't want to say corporate, but their developers aren't front facing like you are, right? Like you're our back end guy, but you're also the front end guy. Like you're the jack of all trades and master of all, actually. But like Hive is kind of like that too, right? Where like their guys that are doing all the technical stuff are also the guys that are talking to you. You know what I mean? And maybe Foreman maybe they just send their marketing guys out or something like that to do it. And you submit a ticket, you're not dealing with the people that can resolve it right away, right? So
no, yeah, that's what's kind of nice about them is they build the chat for you. Like I'm in a chat with Andre and Marcus, so I have a direct link to those guys on Telegram. So which is kind of cool. I know your Foreman is open source and internet coder, but it's super easy to build your own modules for anything you want it to do. I even use it at home and build several ASIC modules to it. You're right. I'm not a coder, and although if you say that, they're just gonna tell me to make the day 32 hours a day to learn coding for 8 hours.
Yeah, I'm taking notes now for things to.
Yeah. You just get like a ding on your phone for like a new.
Add coding.
Make ASIC website. Something super generic.
Have you guys heard anything about the RTX 5090?
I know that it's. I just heard that everything's delayed till CES or later in Q1.
I heard it's supposed to use the GDDR7.
Yeah, the new memory. Yeah, the new memory type.
Crazy.
Yeah, that'll be interesting because over half of the stuff on VAST right now is 4090s. So I wonder, it'll probably just be the same thing, right? The 4090s will turn into the 3090s and still be relevant. So that's why I still think they're a good buy now, is because they'll still be worth it, you know, 2-3 years from now, or still be worthwhile for AI applications. Because that's also a big thing, right? Is like you have the cores, the new memory and everything, but these also get a new generation of tensor cores, right? And that's the big thing for language models.
Yeah, and I mean, you do get a slight upgrade as far as the amount of memory. It did go up by 4 gigabytes, which is
a 28 gig card. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's a weird increment.
Yeah.
I wonder why they did that. Probably their AI card is 32 gigs.
Yeah, that's something I think NVIDIA on the 4000 series, like they purposely made the 4090 big, right? Like the PCB board, so you couldn't put it in server cases. But so many people utilize the 4090 for AI applications that I feel like that they're going to kind of like put like blockers for the new 5090, which I feel is this 28 gigabyte model, right? Like if they did a 32 gig model, it would open up to a lot of different language models for training, because there's a current ones that are using 32, or a big popular one now is 48. That's what these 6008s have. But I feel like they're going to do everything in their power to like continue the VRAM growth on it, but also not have it eat into the sales for its AI data center cards, which are, we've found out, much more expensive. But I think that's how it's going to go. Crypto Craig, I wish there would be turbo 5090s. The only
they will be.
Yeah.
They'll just cost $5,000.
Yeah, and they're going to come from China with no warranty and everything like that. Any news on the 5090 will be PCIe 4.0 or 5? I assume it's going to be 5. It says 5 here on this website, but I think the 4090 can saturate the 4.0 at 16x pretty well. So I assume that the 5090 would oversaturate it at full usage, but I don't know. That's a Jared question. Let's see. Joker Miner, what's up, man? But yeah, no, it'll be exciting. I guess you said CES, right? Which is that January?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always January.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have their own event for NVIDIA, which will be like a month after CES. That's probably where they'll announce it.
Yeah, yeah, probably.
The 49 is so new to me. It's weird.
I might do the old max voltage 18 months Best Buy, no interest.
Yeah.
When the 5090s drop. That way you just get the newest, latest, and greatest, right? I was thinking about doing it with the 4090s, but I don't know. I feel like it's just kind of like ASIC mining to me. It's just like, you might as well just wait until the new ones come out, right? That way you have the best. And you can,
But, I mean, we saw that problem at Terra too, right? Trying to source 4090s. I think the 5090s are going to be the same thing. Even if, you can, get, credit lines or whatever for zero interest and stuff like that. I mean, you're going to be fighting for just one. You know what I mean?
Already orders.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's, we, like I said, we had trouble sourcing 4090s just seems like 8 years ago, but really I think it was just 8 months ago or 6 months ago we were sourcing these things, and they're still backlogged. The 4090s, trying to get them in bulk, which is crazy. So the 5090s I think are going to be the same thing, right? Like, you're going to be sitting there on Best Buy and it's going to say get in line, and then if you get really lucky you'll get one, and then if you get one you're going to be blocked from getting another one for 3 months on Best Buy, like they did with the 4090s. I just assume it's going to be the same thing. I think that's going to be the hardest, thing. But if you have a machine, you can start with like this machine here. It has the Epic board with a 7402P Epic on it, 256 gigs of RAM. If I can just get one, I'll throw it in there, and then I can just add them as they come. You know what I mean? And kind of expand it out. That's probably the play to do it. But doing like a bulk investment with it, I don't know how that's going to work when it's going to be so, the scarcity is going to be real. Everyone's going to be feeling it.
I was thinking about doing maybe. I think I was going to do Micro Center, but I don't know how long their 0% APR is on something like that. But there is a Micro Center in Missouri, and I want to say it's Kansas City. Maybe I'm wrong. And then my mom lives in Detroit, where she goes to college, and there's one that's not that far from her. So I mean, I could get two, because I think you can only go buy one GPU, right, from Micro Center every 30 days like that. They don't let you buy one, if I'm not mistaken. I've never been to a Micro Center, but I thought they had a rule.
I think that they have a rule, or they had it for 4090s during the craze. You know what I mean? Maybe you could buy more than one now. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anything that's like one GPU per customer. I didn't see anything like that.
Yeah.
The NVIDIA conference is March 17th.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they'll probably announce something there. They're probably pushing it back as much as they can. I mean, the 4090 is still a great card, and kind of for gaming. I mean, what more do you need unless you're getting into, I have a 120 hertz monitor at 4K, and I use the 4090. It maxes out pretty much everything. So I think waiting and yeah, they could just make more money off their 4090s, because so much of like the R&D and like the fixed costs is like put into these things, that like the longer that they can drag it out, the better for them as a business. Not for us, but for them as a business.
Have any of you ran the NVIDIA AI program that can run on your computer?
I can't remember the name.
No?
I haven't, no. I'm an AMD guy.
It runs on your computer, and then you could type in anything, like if anything from your emails or notes or anything, and just ask, what day was I supposed to go to my kid's school for dance or something, and it'll go through all your emails and let you know.
Yeah, that's the NSA has had this secret for 10 years.
Yeah, it's pretty creepy.
Yeah, exactly. It's I know Copilot's kind of like that. Right now,
supposedly Copilot takes screenshots of your computer every couple seconds.
Yeah, it's the NSA. They're rolling out their programs finally.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but yeah, I think that's going to be everything. Unless you guys have anything else you guys want to share, or anyone have any questions or anything like that. It's getting close to 10, so it's getting past my bedtime here.
Mike's probably going to call me any minute here to help do the networking for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's up there now, so I'm just waiting for all the machines to shut down randomly. But
well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Frank. And you too, Jared. It's Dave wasn't able to get on, but we'll be back next week on Dave's channel, so we will update you on everything with the veteran miner then. But thanks everyone for watching tonight. We have 79 people watching between X and YouTube, so thank you guys so much, and we'll see you guys on Dave's channel next week. And have a good night, everyone.